my biggest cheerleader. Here we go. Good, great.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Big Girl Adventure Life. I'm excited. Why am I always so excited about our interviews? I think it's because I get to meet new fun people, but I'm very excited to introduce Smokie, aka Coralia Pearl, which just happens to be a mermaid, a plus size mermaid. Okay. See, I told you I was excited. So, Miss Pearl, thank you so much for being on our show.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited. I love what you do with your community and being able to share about plus size adventures and trying to break those glass ceilings and everything else. So I'm excited. Thank you.
Well, we are very happy to have you. So why don't we start with, who are you?
Well, it depends. You're talking real me or I guess, dramatic me.
Let's talk a little bit about both because both are important.
Okay.
Who are you in the norm? Your muggle life.
In the level life, I'm very boring. I have 3 grown children, 2 that both serve. I have a granddaughter. So yes, I see the looks of granddaughter. What? I advocate for special needs children during the day. I'm also a college professor, and in the evening hours, I teach local youth how to swim. I also teach mermaid instruction, snorkeling instruction. I'm a professional freediver, underwater model, and I'm also a professional mermaid.
Oh my goodness, that is a lot. And you had me at the, grandma and all of that because I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. So I understand all that.
Yeah, she's not right near us, so grandma gets to still play, but when baby's here, it's all about the grandbaby.
Mm-hmm. All right, so how did Miss Pearl become Miss Pearl?
Well, as a child, I went through some very traumatic things, and I always dreamt of being a mermaid with a manatee tail. So as I grew up, I was fascinated with manatees. I never got to see one like in person, as far as in the wild. You can see them in SeaWorld, you see them in wherever, but I had never seen them in the wild. So for my 35th birthday, I had already met somebody very pivotal to my life, but one of my friends had a monofin. She goes, "Here, don't you want to try this? You as much as you swim, it'll be so amazing, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, I don't know. This is embarrassing. I don't want to embarrass my children. I don't want to, because of my jobs, I didn't want to risk those. So I kind of took a step back. I kept it a secret for over 7 years. And one day I just said, forget it. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of not embracing the fact that there's this amazing world out there and I get to do things that most people, plus size or small, don't get to do. And I embraced it. I was like, forget it. It's time. It's my time.
Yay! So a manatee tail. Of all things, a manatee tail. And
yes.
Does Miss Pearl have a manatee costume that, do you have like a gray scale tail now?
I don't have the manatee tail per se, but I do have beta styles. So I have several. I have one that is a custom one of one. It's the only one in the world from Mermaid Lucia, and it's 9 foot tall from my waist down.
Wow.
And so it's a beta, and it's patriotic for my 2 daughters that serve, and also for my family members that have served. I have a red, white, and blue top. Everything is red, white, and blue for that one. But it is very poignant to me because it brings that dream to life. And I will say manatees love to play with it.
Right, because you're out of Florida, right? So there's
Mhm.
manatees like crazy down there.
Yes. And it was funny is it took until the day before my 40th birthday to actually see one in the wild.
Wow.
Hmm. And then on my 40th birthday, I actually got to swim with them. And ever since then, it's like, so now I help with their conservation. I work with their social media to do their, preservation, conservation, and also working on eelgrass restoration. So yeah, it's just been a whirlwind.
That is so beautiful. All of it. Um, keep, busy. Like, how do you keep it all straight?
Reminders in my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And then
Perfect.
I do, yeah, if there wasn't reminders and calendars, I'd be in trouble.
So we have ventured out and have taken some mermaid lessons, and
Mhm.
it's a struggle. So what tips do you give your clients or swimmers or mermaids, whatever you call them? What tips would you give them, and especially plus size gals? What would you tell them on how to mermaid better?
One thing is knowing your body and knowing your limits. So I started off as a snorkeler. I became a scuba diver certified, and then I became a certified free diver as well. I use all of those different pieces to enhance my mermaid experience, and I share that with my students. So one of them is definitely the breathing aspect. We have some amazing, big, beautiful lungs. And unfortunately, we don't tend to use them in the best way possible. We only use, I think, one study says 30% of our lungs, another one was 55. So we're not using our full capacity. And with our lungs, we have the ability to make ourselves float or sink. And I'm a floaty fish, so there's different techniques. Like I could bob. I don't even have to move. I just sit on the top of the water as I'm teaching swim lessons, and my students hate me. They're like, "How do you do that? I'm drowning." I'm like, "It's okay." But I use it to my advantage, and I've learned different techniques. One of the biggest one is called a duck dive. So it's a free diving technique. You basically lay on top of the water, bend yourself in half, go straight down, let gravity take effect. It makes beautiful on the tail, by the way.
We totally did that. We totally did the duck dive.
Yeah.
I got
Yes.
that one.
Yes. Duck dive is fabulous. And then, just working your body and thinking, putting yourself in the vision of how does my body feel? Does it feel beautiful this way? Does it feel too strained? And if it's too strained, how can I stretch? How can I work my body to make it better for the next time? I do recommend, even if you have just a phone case, just get one of those underwater cases, put it on your phone and videotape yourself. See how you're moving and don't compare yourself to others because there are, and I have lots of very small, beautiful mermaid friends, but they don't swim the same way as someone with curves.
Mm-hmm.
So embrace the beauty of your body, and what we find as our flaws really can make us even more beautiful in the water. So it's about connecting to yourself, connecting to your environment, and making magic.
Oh, I love that. I know I'm a floaty fish. I'm totally a floaty fish. And one of my biggest struggles is I wanted to work my arms. So I'm like, instead of
Yeah.
being
The
yes.
struggle is real. Yeah. So I have taught myself either, fingers pointed, keeping the hands together, or to my side. So it just depends what I'm trying to do and how it looks best for that particular moment. Because, you got to keep it alternated. You can't do the same pose all the time.
I'm also a upside down mermaid. I like to be on my back and underwater kicking.
Same. I love it. I swim upside down all the time.
It was so beautiful. The video of me on my back and just kicking. I have the beautiful flutter, but then I turn over and it's like,
gravity is not always our friend, even in water. There's certain angles. Like I went over top of the camera one time and I'm like, oh, this is going to be so horrible. And I'm like, ooh, I like that one. And then there's another time I went over and I'm like, oh, scary. Don't do that. Never do that again.
That's great.
Yeah. So, and I'm one, I love to swim under the water and looking up at the clouds and, you know, seeing the reflection and refraction of the light. It's beautiful. So yeah, I'm a upside down swimmer.
Well, you'll have to go back and watch the episodes of us with Tia and give me some pointers, okay?
Oh, definitely. I love helping. That's the whole part of it. So I never wanted to be public about any of this because I was worried about what my jobs would say, what my children would feel. And I didn't want to embarrass them. You know, I'm already the fat mom. So it wasn't cool 28 years ago to be a fat mom. You were mortified. You were told basically you just sat at home and ate bonbons. And your expression was, how do you keep it all together? Well, I'm constantly on the go and I don't ever stop. My own doctor's like, I don't see how you're not a stick figure.
Exactly.
Yeah. And chasing a 1 and a 3-year-old around, like bowing. Okay. Because that's intense energy. There's no downtime. And so I've learned to embrace my body as it is, not for the curves, not for the negativity, not for any of that stuff, just for me. Just
bing, 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 bing. Yes. So much.
It's really not about what anyone else has to say or what they're thinking, what they're feeling, because at the end of the day, it's my body. And if I have a million negative comments, it only takes one for me to forget about those million.
Yes. Good for you. Okay. So now we're talking about all this potentially painful stuff. Getting in a swimsuit is one of the hardest things for so many people. And you're not just getting in a swimsuit, you're getting into a sausage stuffed tail. Yeah. Because I had to put these tails on and I had to put on 2 brand new tails. So they weren't pre-stretched.
Oh,
I know.
Even worse.
Why didn't I pre-stretch it? So,
note to self, pre-stretch any tails before you ever go on camera. Again, please.
Yes.
You'll feel better about yourself.
It's okay. We handled it. But how did you get over that? Like, how did you get over that feeling that you're just, you're falling out of your swimsuit, or that, you are your size and you're just out there exposed? How did you get through that?
Well, one of the big things was, so I have custom silicone tops, and I'll kind of pan down just a little bit, that Kiki Von Mermaid makes, and they hold the girls in place. Like, I have a whole wardrobe of Kiki Von Mermaid. So I looked up different mermaid creators that were plus size friendly, and they were willing to work with curvy bodies. Not everybody is willing to work with a curvy body, being honest. And then I also tried out used tails because I was afraid nothing would ever fit me. And to be honest, Taylor, I was like, yeah, there's no way that tail's ever going to fit me. It's only to a extra large. There's no way. And then I happened to try on an extra large and it was loose on me. And I went, wait, what? So then I tried a large and I went, oh my gosh, a large fits. Like my big thick thighs and my big thick hips and my bodacious booty, they're in a large. Like this doesn't happen. So I gotta leave it to the crown. It likes to show off sometimes. But I really did leave it all out there. I was very bold and brazen. And my first video that had over 200,000 views, several globally known mermaids reached out to me and they're like, Smokie, I love your content. I love your brazenness, but you're going to get shadow banned if you keep showing all of your skin. And they were right. I did get shadow banned. So I reached back out to a couple of them and I'm like, hey, what should I do? And they're like, anything just to make it look like you have skin, but not necessarily have skin. So there's all the way up until a couple of months ago, I had Spanx on. I had the high-rise Spanx just to the fact of if somebody said it was nudity, I could argue with it. Look, there's material there. It's not my skin. And I did have to fight for several of my videos because they kept trying to take them down. They were like, no, you have nudity, you have this. And I'm like, there's nothing nude. It's a stomach, and actually it's not a stomach, it's called Spanx. So I finally just, I would say probably 5-6 months ago said, forget it, I'm done. This is not being true to myself. This is not helping anyone else. And I had somebody reach out to me and go, are you losing weight? And I went, okay, no, that's not the image that I need to be projecting. I need to show that I'm true to myself. I have all these health issues that I can't control, and it's not my fault. I eat like a bird and I eat healthy. I am exercising every day of the week. No, I need to stop showing that my body is quote unquote perfect just because of a pair of Spanx. So I did stop it, and it was hard, but boy, was it kind of liberating at the end.
It's crazy the things that just, when you finally accept them. For the longest time, I guess I used to say that I was a skinny girl in a fat girl's body, but honestly, for the longest time, I've realized that no, like everything about me is big. My personality is big. My emotions are big. So why wouldn't I have a big body to put it in?
Yes. There's only so much packaging that you can put amazingness into. And if it means that I've got a few extra rolls and a few extra tiger stripes and some cellulite here and there just to throw in a couple of, pounds of extra awesomeness, we're good.
Oh, I need to come down and visit you. You are too much fun.
Well, I am an old grandma, so.
Hey, you had me fooled.
Well, I have to laugh because a lot of the mermaids call me mom, just because I'm 44. So like, oh, mom, and I'm thinking, you're 35 years old. I'm technically not your mom. I'm like your big sister, but okay. Well,
some of us are just a little more mature than others.
Exactly. I've got the gray hair. So they were just like, okay, yeah, she's got the white straight gray hair. She's mom. Okay, we're good. That's all right. I get bonus grandma kids, it's all good.
That works. Okay. So if you had one quote or one thing that you would tell somebody that was just starting to come out of their shell and wanting to try new things, and mermaiding potentially being one of them, what advice would you give them?
That one's a heavy one because there's so many that come to mind, but one has kind of been playing heavier on my heart lately. And it's, you can't suck at something if you're never going to try. But at the end of the day, give yourself grace because you might be way better at it than you could have ever imagined.
That's a good one.
It's kind of a culmination of several, but it really falls true because sometimes we're afraid to just try. I was afraid to try. If people would come past me, I would hide in this river and just like pull the monofin up to me. I left it at a friend's house. I never even told my children for 7 years that I was doing this.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but it took bold and brazen people like Chez Monique, Society of Fat Mermaids. It took people for me to connect with through social media and through other areas to go, okay, forget it. It's time to live my life. It's time to be bold and it's time to be brazen. And then of course, after I went public, then comes the wigs. whole bunch of them back there. You know, then comes the crowns and the custom tops and, you know, all these great accessories. And I'm like, who is this woman? Because that's not the same mousy person that was there just a few years ago, afraid to walk around without Spanx on every 5 minutes.
Mermaids can't swim in the closet.
No. I mean, unless you have a really cool dive tank for a closet, that's the only way it's happening. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, I mean, now if you got one of those, hit me up. Because I'm over. I'm coming. It's like, woo-hoo, let's go to their house. Let's go play mermaids.
Okay. What is your favorite piece of mermaid gear? You know, you've been mentioning the wigs and the crowns and the pieces. What is your favorite?
Like that I wear or that I have or that I've had made, because there's a lot. I have my own pop. Does that help?
You what?
I had my own pop made.
Really?
A little pop? Yeah, I had one made. She's up on the thing. Yeah, my husband's gonna walk behind me to go grab it. But yeah, she's in a case. She has this crown as her sorry, he's sliding through here. But yeah, and it's actually my Mertailor.
Hi, Mr. Pearl.
He's used to that. Let me tell you, he's just like, it's Mr. Coralia, Mr. Pearl, Mr. whatever. Yeah, he's used to it. But I would say as far as things that I've bought or had made, yeah, the pop is my favorite. But as far as the whole mermaid aspect, I love my crowns. I have a whole wall of them. And most of them are from Christy Brown. And then I love my tops. I could not do this without Kiki Von Mermaid. You're in it. Yes, I know.
Solid in me.
Yes. So yes, I really do have my own top.
Look at you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I really do have my own pop. So like, if you're saying things that I've like done, yeah, that's definitely on the top.
Probably about 6 years back, I was the Reno Tahoe ambassador for Wizard Con, and I was the She-Hulk, full green body paint, ripped shirt, and I had a 3D image done. I had to stand on this platform and do all this amazing stuff, and then I didn't buy the action figure. I'm like, why did I get it? I could have been an action figure.
Like my heart's breaking for you. There's just
money. Money.
Yeah, money is always an issue, it seems, when you're into hobbies and doing things, because it's like what you want never happens at the right time.
I know. But speaking of money, because you have all this amazing stuff, and I'm just sitting there going, I just want one tail. What one piece, if somebody was gonna get started with mermaiding, what is the best way to get started? And if they were gonna buy one piece or wanting to get started, what's the best way to get said piece?
Mermaid Linden monofin.
Okay.
You can get it on Amazon, and no, I don't suggest buying things necessarily from Amazon, or you could buy it directly from her. You can buy it from Mertailor. You can buy it, I'm trying to think where else. It's Amazon, Mertailor. I believe you can get it through Finfolk, but it's just the most amazing starter monofin ever. It is a little floaty, so it helps build up the legs, especially for us curvy girls. So we're automatically a little floaty, but it really does flow into it nicely. That one. So I actually have several of them. I store them in the dive shop. So I gotta work with the camera here.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just an amazing, and it goes up to like a size 11 shoe.
Oh, that's so much nicer. We use the little footies.
Yeah.
The ones where you have to put your feet in.
Mhm.
And that was a struggle. I felt like I was like bending and
Fighting.
flexing and yeah.
Yeah. So you use the Fin Fun one.
Probably.
Yeah. And being bigger people, we tend to have more muscle. And even a smaller person, I can tell you now, I zip through with that fin on. It's like, done. But it's a great way to get started. And you don't have to have a tail. You don't even have to have a monofin. You can practice being a mermaid, and you can take all the classes. You can do everything. You can borrow stuff. You don't even have to get in the water to be a mermaid. It's just all about protecting the beauty of our natural environment and the water and the animals that it entails, and just being a good steward of who you are and what's going on around you. You know, being a voice. Sometimes we forget that we need to be a voice.
Oh, so many good messages with this interview. Thank you so much, Miss Pearl. Okay. Any shout outs that you want to give, or things you want to leave us with?
Well, if you happen to ever be in Central Florida, I definitely suggest, one, hit me up. I would love to be able to swim with you. I've had mermaids come all the way from Alaska and other countries to come actually swim with us here at the Springs. Mertailor is a great place to get started. Fin Fun tails are amazing. Cape Cali, great mermaid tails as well. Mermaid Me, Kiki Von Mermaid. She's just absolutely wonderful as far as the tops. And she's just very size inclusive. She doesn't give you a penalty for being plus size. Moonsong Mermaid. She is amazing. She's in South Africa. So if you are in the United States, you have a little bit of shipping. But she customizes every tail to everybody. She asks you all of your measurements. We'll get them made. There's no upcharge for being curvy or being unique. Like, even if you have these tiny little beautiful bird legs, which I'm so jealous of some days, and just a thicker midsection, hey, she's not going to charge you extra because you have these beautiful curves and, great places. So, and then of course, Christy. And one thing I want to say truthfully is Society of Fat Mermaids and the Florida Springs Mermaids groups, they're amazing. They have so many inspirational people there. They travel the world. I have traveled the world. And I don't mean necessarily for just mermaiding, but in my travels and in the different places that I've gone, even with the magazine that I work with, it's amazing. You just stop being afraid. Live your life, because you only get one.
Go to be.
Yes.
Sorry, that's my motivational training slogan. So, boom,
yes,
right there.
Well, I didn't know that right off, but hey,
now you do.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that is going to be all for us for today. But Coralia, please stay on the line, and I will jump over to you in just a second.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you. You're all amazing.
All right, everyone. That does it for another episode of Big Girl Adventure Life. Who knows what adventures comes next, but be sure that you are going out and taking your own adventures. That's right. You go take your adventures. If you haven't joined our Big Girl Adventure Life challenge, please go to biggirladventurelife.com and join now. It has a wonderful booklet to get you started, and you never know what you might find on the other end. We'll see you on our next adventure. Go do be.